Guys, good afternoon and welcome to Matt Bajerski YouTube channel. How are you all doing today? Been very busy all day long wrapping and packing because our new Palo sticks came in. Obviously we're only a small team, so I've been painting the sticks through the night and through the day non-stop, so I'm just taking a break now, to be honest. It's been a very long night for me, emotional night. You know how sometimes you get emotional about things? I thought, wow, why don't we talk about something to do with not just about emotions, because I think we all have emotions, but what about the people who are heightenedly emotional? The ones where everybody says, oh, for God's sake, grow up, or for God's sake, calm down, and oh, stop being so soft. And I'm talking about you guys who get attacked for being sensitive, or laughed at and mocked at, and a lot of the time taken advantage. People see our emotions as a weakness when it's not a weakness. But I've got to say, over the years of working in this field of work, which has made me even more empathic, which is a slippery slope really if you're not careful, because there is a dark side to being empathic, and there is definitely a dark side to being sensitive. There's no doubt about it. And I suppose we'll go into some detail today about that today, and let's see if we can recognize ourselves and if there's some things that we can do to help us along that journey of being so sensitive. I think first of all we have to know the difference between what we're feeling and then what the brain starts to chip in and starts to give you its analysis, its version of its truth, or its version of its understanding. And your mind only has the understanding of what you've experienced or what you've read or heard from other people. So the mind is limited to anything and doesn't really know anything other than what it's been programmed, okay? So that's the tool. That's the mind. It's a tool. That's all it is, and should be used correctly when you're crossing the road, looking left and right, when you're reading a book, when you're getting up for work and you put your clothes on and you look for your socks, you look for your Moldavite, which has disappeared again. And you use your mind for those things. But we tend to go in the mind when our sensitivity heightens, because we're desperately searching for explanations and reasons why. And if you take that away, and let's start at the very beginning of all of these things. Take for instance a relationship. Just say that you're a heightened, sensitive, beautiful soul and you want to meet somebody really beautiful. Then all of the suffering and worrying about never meeting anybody, it'll never happen. One day it happens and you meet this beautiful person that you imagined in your mind to be, or who you would want. You would ask your angels, your guides, the universe, God, whoever, I want to meet somebody lovely. So you meet them, and now all of a sudden you've created who you want to meet, and you meet this person, and they may be everything that you want, and you may be filled with joy. And at that given moment, all of a sudden, because you're filled with joy and everything's happening as it should be, all of a sudden then your heightened sensitivity kicks in, as it does. It always kicks in. It seems to always kick in, even when it shouldn't. It kicks in at any given moment. And it's a challenge, because now you're thinking, okay, well, it could be a number of things. What if this person changes their mind? What if they leave? What if this happens? What if that happens? Oh, I feel them because of this, and oh, I feel they're a little bit like this, and then we try and figure out why they're a little bit like that, and all of a sudden we're creating again, because we come up here and start thinking again, and our mind tries to put the pieces together, and here we go. We're on a roundabout of emotions. I think it is a big challenge for all of us these days because of the awareness, because we're becoming more aware and more awakened to our gift and our power, that we somewhat misjudge a lot of things. And if you think about it, it's true. Be honest. we get ourselves into a pickle, even when we look back and think that we shouldn't have done that, I shouldn't have done that, I shouldn't have said that, I shouldn't have thought this. You know how many times we've done that? And sometimes we even go into the stage where we're thinking about how we project ourselves and how we behave to our partners or friends and others, and we even start to blame ourselves for being the person that we are, and then we create issues that aren't there, and we can talk ourselves out of anything. Do you know what I'm saying, guys? Are you with me here? Are you on the same page? Because if you're a sensitive, you will understand what I'm saying. We talk ourselves out of so much. We talk ourselves out of so much because of our fear, our worry, our insecurities, our should I, do I deserve it, self-worth. And the list goes on of emotions that we have to go through from day to day. And so too, it is a challenge for anybody who lives with us, because they don't know how we're going to behave from one moment to the next. They have no clue to how we think, because how we think and feel is completely different than anybody else. And it's damn hard for anybody living with a sensitive. It is a challenge. And it really, I take my hat off to anybody who is there to support somebody who is an empath, who is a sensitive. I really do, because a lot of the times, without realizing, you guys walk on eggshells because you don't want to upset us and hurt us. And you can see our sensitivity. You can see how fragile we are on many different topics and just on day-to-day life. And when we recognize this, especially me, when I recognize this in my past, I realize that I am using my sensitivity in ways that are causing people around me suffering, and of course is causing me suffering. So I needed to figure out what I need to do to change this. So can I live in the blame me syndrome? It's all my fault because I'm sensitive, or blame you because you don't understand my sensitivity? That doesn't wash, guys. We have to take responsibility, and it doesn't matter how many times you fall, as long as you get back up and say, okay, this is my sensitivity again. This is what I was born with, but how can I use my sensitivity in a way that doesn't affect people and myself? That is the biggest question for sensitives. We don't ask ourselves that. That's the problem, because of self-worth. Do we deserve it? Or hang on a minute, I've got this sensitivity and it's me, it's who I am. Not necessarily, guys, not necessarily. It may be that your sensitivity is a word which is a heightened vibration which other people don't have and you work with. When I say they don't have, that's not true. Everybody has that heightened sensitivity, but some people are more aware of it. So what do you do with that, guys, now that you have it? Do you sit and wallow in the sadness and pain and suffering, which is so easy to do for all of us? Or do we say, you know what, I need to snap out of this and I need to conquer this and I need to know some way of acknowledging and alerting myself to the moment I start my sensitive moments when they just happen. And that actually is a great trigger point to stopping you from slipping. And I guess, I hold my hand up all the time because I slip often, because a lot of the times I like to use my sensitivity for my work, and then I forget I'm not working anymore, and then I'm back in it again, and I'm thinking, no, stop, cut it off, take it away. Cut it off. That was work. That's not my personal life or my home life or my day-to-day living. So that is another really great observation. I use my sensitivity when I'm working, when I need to use it for certain reasons. So if you're around people who need love and kindness and a caring ear, you switch your sensitivity on and you look for the channeling and the messages and the help and the guidance that you can give to people. And that's a great form of using your gift. But two, we need to know to switch it off. We need to know to say, okay, that's separate, that's a part of me, which is a gift, but I am not going to carry it around with me and say that this is me. No, it's my gift that I can use anytime I want. Turn on, turn off. So another good way of conquering this emotion of how we can be stronger than and when to be wise enough to turn it on and use it. The other way, I hope you're getting this, guys. I hope I'm not boring you to death when you're going, what's this guy on about? I really hope you understand, because if you don't understand, then maybe you're not in that sensitive world, so it doesn't really affect you. So maybe, there's lots of other videos to watch. This is for people who really suffer, who really get themselves into a real tangled web of emotions, and they cause themselves so much pain and suffering. All right, guys, I'm just the same, so I know how you feel, so don't worry. There's so many of us. We see so much injustice. We see so much suffering. We see so much wrongdoing. And all of those things, we're triggered. So we have to learn not to be triggered. We have to learn to just take that away from time to time so we can live an earthly life. The other thing that I found really helpful for me was the mantra, the words which was repeated. Mark, just let everything go. Everything's as it should be. Everything will work out as it's meant to do. The reason why I'm here is because I'm here. Where I'm going is where I'm going. So all of these words repeated is a form of giving you some form of reassurance that you have to learn to trust that everything is as it should be. And where you are right now is where you're meant to be. And you cannot change the world instantly. But you can help every now and again. But if you spend your whole life trying to fix everything, trying to feel everything and understand everything, that's when you will break down and you will be in a deep, sad, and very lonely place. We cause our own issue. And you may be angry when I'm saying this, but it's true, guys. You have to look at yourself and say, it isn't my mum, dad, brother, sister, lover issues out there. It's my issue. Because you are the creator of your emotions. So what you see, you bring back into you, and you then create whatever you want to create. It is far more beautiful to create love in your heart than create suffering in yourself. So I believe you have to learn to let go. If you live with an empath, okay, that is a challenge for anybody, because it's very, very difficult to know which way their wind blows, which way they're going to be today and tomorrow. My suggestion to you, if you are living with an empath, is, are you ready for this? Don't take everything to heart. Just see it as they are going through an emotional turmoil within themselves at any given moment. And they're trying to process things in their own way, which may be different from how you would process. It may take them a lot longer because they go far deeper into any given little situation. They break it down, they analyze it, they feel it, they try and understand it, they try and make sense of everything, what could happen to the situation or to anybody or themselves. So a sensitive is always going deeper. They look through eyes like they're looking through a microscope of emotions. So I would like to say to you guys, thank you for putting up with us sensitives. I also would like to say that nothing is ever personal when they say something and they react. It is only because of their insecurities and their fears that they sometimes knee-jerk and say things that sometimes can be hurtful, that sometimes can be completely out of the blue, like where the hell has that just come from? And I want to say to you guys, I don't believe a sensitive wants to hurt you. I believe when they say these things is normally because they are confused in their own world, because the sensitivity that they carry can be so challenging and so very difficult to put all the pieces together and understand everything, because that's what a sensitive is trying to do. But it may perceive in your eyes as if they're confused in you, confused in the situation, they don't understand things. No, it's not. It's because they're trying to see things in a different way than what you would see, or the only way you would see. Imagine I gave you a question and your thought straight away came up with one answer. If you ask a sensitive that same question, first of all, they'll go away and think about it for a week, because all of these thoughts and feelings and different emotions now flying up. They may answer you straight away, but that isn't really the answer, because they have to process things a lot longer, and it can take days, and sometimes they can think of one thing and say this, and then the following week they can say something else. Because a sensitive is open to many different thoughts and feelings, and they're not stubborn. They're actually quite open to whatever. So a lot of people misinterpret sensitives as people who don't really understand anything, and they change their mind every 5 minutes and they don't know what they're talking about. Well, in truth, they're geniuses, because they're open to seeing things and aware of different things happening all the time. And then they make their observations, and it may be different from one moment to the next. And they believe what they said today, but tomorrow they'll believe what they say, but it may be a contradiction, because they've gone through all of these emotions of what they thought was right, and then they started feeling things, and all of a sudden everything flies everywhere. So what I'm saying is, this is a complicated conversation. This is something that I love to talk about for hours and hours. But suffice to say, sensitives never mean to hurt anybody. And if you've ever been hurt by a sensitive, don't take it to your heart. Don't try and analyze them and work them out, because as any sensitive will tell you, they don't truly know themselves a lot of the times. They don't truly know who they are and what they're doing, because they realize that they are truly a beautiful work in progress, and they are learning and experiencing through every single situation they go through. So if a sensitive says that they know something and this is it, you can be sure to ask them the same question a month later, and they'll give you probably a different answer, and be so adamant that they know that this is the truth, whereas they'll have said something a couple of months before and it'll have been different. It's because they're always evolving, they're always learning, they're always listening, they're always changing different emotions, different feelings. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, why I didn't realize about that. Oh my God, what about? And then all of a sudden, so I think what I'm trying to say is, it is difficult to have a conversation with a sensitive, in the sense that they can give you an exact correct answer to everything. You see, when you look at a sensitive in the world through their eyes, everything is evolving and changing constantly. And it's really challenging for you to ask a sensitive something when they don't know how they're going to feel with their emotions from one day to the next. So one day I can cope with something very easily, and the next day I can't cope with it. And it's the same situation, because we're changing and evolving, and we're feeling, and sometimes we're strong, sometimes we feel weak because of what we're feeling, because what that emotion has triggered through the whole of our life and our past lives. So in truth, we are a complicated bunch of souls who really, I guess, are misunderstood by most people. And again, there are many different forms of misunderstanding. And like I said to you, a lot of people take on board that when you're a sensitive, meaning kind, caring, empathic, loving, people either take advantage or they look at us as we're weak. And sometimes it can go a little bit darker, where people really do take advantage very badly and cause a lot of issues to sensitives, because sensitives struggle to say no. They really do. But hopefully through these videos that you've been watching, that if you are a sensitive and you can look back on some of these videos I've done over the past 2 years, you'll start to see that your sensitivity is a beautiful gift. And always remember, sensitives, that you tend to focus on the negative more than the positive. And I think that you need to remember how beautiful and kind and loving and caring you are. And you are a rare set of lighthouses in the world who want to shine a light of love, to heal the world, to make the world better. And you struggle to understand why the world is so bad. Whereas most people don't see that. We see the pain and suffering, whereas most people are too busy doing what they're doing. So in truth, I open my heart to you with a lot of love and to say well done for being a sensitive. And hopefully in this video you might take a few things of saying, you know what, maybe I have to be aware that the sensitivity that I hold is a gift and is not particularly me, but is what I hold inside my heart, that I can say, okay, I'll shelve that this afternoon, leave that alone, and just get on with my life and live an earthly life without using this gift of sensitivity today. Learn to try and switch it on and off. That's a great thing to do. Tell your mind to shut up as much as you can. Give yourself a holiday from the sensitivity and just say, everything is as it should be. Leave things alone. Don't get involved. Don't try and understand people every day. Don't try and figure things out and work things out. Don't try and always work towards a solution to everything. Don't always try and figure out what is going to happen in your future and I'm going to try and make all of this work and will it work or won't it work. Try and let all that go and practice the art of trust in your path and believe that there is a higher force at work, working with you and helping you along this journey. So give yourself a holiday as much as you can from time to time. That certainly will help. And that's it, I guess, today, guys. It's been a fairly long video, like a little workshop on sensitives. I wish you well from the bottom of my heart. One of the nice crystals I like to use to self-empower me, to make me strong from all the suffering and worrying and pain and fear out there and within my mind and the things that I create as a sensitive, is a really beautiful crystal called Tiger's Eye. And it has, I always realized that Tiger's Eye had a really good, powerful energy of strengthening a certain part of my inner light that made me more of a lion. It made me stronger. And I didn't then feel as worried or fearful, and I didn't really focus on the sadness around me. So these are ones that I worked on, that I put on my website. I love them very much, but I chose 3 from my website today, and I pulled them out, and I'm gonna gift 3 of these little ones away. They're very small, but they're very beautiful. This is the Divine Buddha as carved on here, which is really pretty. That's 1. That's 2. And that's 3. Now, I'm going to gift these away to you. All you need to do, guys, is say yes somewhere in the end or the beginning. So I'll just scan down and see if you say yes. Yes meaning I am a sensitive. Okay, so somewhere in your text, if you say yes, that means you're a sensitive. And be honest with yourself, guys, because these will work for a sensitive who's going through a lot of pain and suffering today. So if you're not going through pain and suffering, but you understand the video, let somebody else have a crystal today who really needs it. If you've ever had a crystal off me before, guys, if I've gifted you a crystal, please be kind and generous to other people. We've got thousands of people who watch these videos. If you've had a crystal, say thank you for that to yourself and say, you know what, I think somebody else needs that crystal today. Okay, so if you've already had a crystal from me, guys, gifted, please let somebody else have one. Okay, and if I've ever sent you more than one, don't worry about it. I'm just thinking now that there's a lot of people who need a crystal these days who's never had one from me, so please, okay, let them. Hope that makes sense. Is that all right? Okay, guys, these are going to come out in the next couple of days to somebody, to 3 people who need to feel stronger. And again, if you do look for a nice crystal to work with, if you're a sensitive and you want to find your strength and you don't want to feel as sensitive as much, then I would definitely say Tiger's Eye is that crystal that I used to use whenever I felt really sensitive and I wanted to become stronger and I wanted to overcome that energy of sensitivity, but use it in a correct way. So I hope that helped today. Okay, guys, have a great day. Tiger's Eye is a fantastic crystal. Don't ever forget that. Take care. Thank you for subscribing to Matt Bajerski YouTube channel and love you all. Take care.